Hello, students. Welcome to Engineering Geology and Hydrology. Last class, we mainly learned the definition of geological hazards, the role and significance of geological hazard assessment, assessment scope, assessment level, the main working methods and procedures of assessment. Today, we will specifically learn how to prepare geological hazard assessment reports. Here are the covers of the two assessment reports. The preparation of the Geological Disaster Assessment Report, or manual, is the focus of the entire assessment work. The content of the report includes two parts, text and drawings. The main point is to comprehensively sort out, analyze, and study the results of field investigation, experiment, detection, and all kinds of data. On this basis, the present situation assessment, forecast assessment, and comprehensive assessment are carried out. First of all, the Land Disaster Assessment Report should be prepared with an outline. The main point of the outline preparation is to compile an outline of the Geological Disaster Risk Assessment Report of various provinces and cities according to the technical requirements for geological disaster risk assessment of construction land issued by the Ministry of Land and Resources. The assessment report should include the following aspects. I. Project overview. 2. Determination of assessment level. III. Geological environment characteristics. IV. Geological disaster risk assessment. V. Prevention and control measures suggestions. VI. Conclusions. The project overview should include the following three aspects. 1. Project acceptance. Task requirements, project evaluation working time, etc. 2. Construction project overview, including location, scale, land use scope, project type, building structure and layout, etc. 3. Linear engineering requires engineering distribution drawings and related technical requirements. In short, the core of the project profile should account for the basic situation of the proposed project, in addition to the corresponding text description, but also attach the relevant map description, the traffic position map, and the standard cross-section map of the subgrade are presented here. This is a general layout. On the left is a list of architectural overview. Through the illustration of the chart, readers can quickly understand the scale of the proposed project, construction characteristics. 2. Determination of evaluation level. According to the importance of the project, it can be divided into critical, important, and general construction projects. The complexity of the geological environment can be divided into three levels: complex, medium, and simple. When determining the complexity of the project, it should be noted that it should be determined according to the principle of conservative approach toward the upper bound. The evaluation level of construction projects can be divided into three levels: first, second, and third. We can judge by this table. For example, the importance of a project is classified as an critical construction project, and the complexity of the geological environment is complex. If the geological environment is of medium complexity, it is still a level I assessment. But if its geological complexity is on the simple scale, then our project should be a secondary assessment. 3. Preparation of geological environmental conditions. It mainly includes A. The environmental geological structure location of the assessment area. B. Geological environment characteristics meteorology, hydrology. C. Topographic and geomorphic features. D. Regional geological background characteristics. E. Hydrogeological characteristics, engineering geological characteristics, and seismic geological characteristics. In addition, it also covers the impact of human engineering activities on the geological environment and other geological issues. And in the preparation of the report, This part of the content is mostly obtained from the field mapping and collected data. The compilation of geological environment conditions should be accompanied by corresponding maps, such as meteorological map, topographic map, geological map, structural outline map, and hydrogeological map. Through the maps, further explain the geological environment conditions of the assessment area. 4. Geological disaster risk assessment. Current situation assessment is mainly to determine the types of geological hazards in risk assessment. Types and characteristics of geological disasters. The types, quantity, distribution, scale. Formation mechanism, objects at risk, stability, etc. are described. The risk assessment of current geological disasters is carried out, and the corresponding main conclusions are given. Prediction assessment refers to the risk assessment that may induce geological disasters during or after the construction of a project. To evaluate whether can induce or exacerbate landslide, mudrock flow, collapse, ground subsidence, ground fissure, land subsidence, and other geological disasters, and to predict possible damage and harm. Take unstable slope collapse and landslide as an example, and refer to the possibility grading table of unstable slope to determine whether the possibility of unstable slope collapse and landslide in the evaluation area is large, medium, or small. Combined with the geological hazard degree classification table, the hazard degree, possibility and harm degree of unstable slope collapse and landslide in the evaluation area are determined. Combined with the geological hazard prediction and evaluation classification table, the risk of unstable slope collapse and landslide geological disaster can be determined. This table is a typical case for determining the risk of geological disaster. Comprehensive assessment. On the basis of current situation assessment and forecast assessment, qualitative and semi-quantitative methods are adopted to comprehensively assess the risk degree of geological disasters, determine the risk level of geological disasters, and evaluate the suitability of construction land. The comprehensive assessment should also prepare the geological hazard comprehensive zoning description table, so that the reader can be clear about the comprehensive zoning of the entire assessment area. When there are obvious differences in the risk levels of geological disasters in the assessment areas, the differences in geological environmental conditions, the number of types of geological disasters, the degree of development, and the degree of harm in the assessment areas should be fully considered, according to the principle of regional similarity, interregional difference, and conservative approach toward the upper bound, and the qualitative and semi-quantitative methods should be adopted to divide the risk levels of geological disasters, sections. The classification of geological hazards. Geological environmental conditions, types, development characteristics, development degree. Harm degree and prevention measures of geological hazards are explained in sub-regions, segments. 5. Prevention and control measures. The main points of prevention and control measures are divided into 3 aspects. 1. Geological disaster prevention and control classification. 2. Suggestions on prevention and control measures for existing geological disasters and hidden dangers. 3. Suggestions on prevention and control measures for various types of disasters. It is necessary to combine the actual characteristics of the project and give targeted prevention and control measures, which cannot be generalized. 6. Conclusions and recommendations. The conclusion is the summary of the aspects of the previous report, and the conclusion should cover the determination of the evaluation level of construction land and the determination of the main types of geological disasters. It is very important to compile the conclusion part of the report, which should be the concentration and refinement of the whole evaluation report. The suggestion is for the proposed project. Put forward the targeted suggestions of disaster prevention and control. Must have pertinence. In addition to the 6 parts of the main body of the report, the evaluation report should also include the content of the attached drawings and annexes. The attached drawings mainly include photos of the assessment area, comprehensive assessment maps, sections, and bar charts. The attachments mainly include the power of attorney and contract of the project. The accompanying photos should be clearly marked T. The shooting angle and locatline. The attached map should be clear and reflect the current geological environmental conditions of the assessment area. The quoted map should also indicate the source. This is a scene photo attached to a disaster report. The photo is very clear, indicating the angle of shooting, the location of the photo, as well as the specific layout of the project on the map, the scope of the assessment area, and so on. Today, we mainly studied how to compile the assessment report, learned how to apply in-class knowledge to practical work. See you next class.